What's going on, XCFL? We Here we are, the Higgy and Rob Show, episode 4. I'm your host, Higgy, and I got with me my co-host, Mr. Robert Morlock. What's going on, Rob?
Hey, not much. How's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. We've got a very special episode today. We're gonna do our traditional evaluations here coming up. The first segment, and we got a very special interview that we're sure you guys will love when we get to that. So pretty excited about that. And then we're gonna do our first mock draft. We're gonna list our top 32 players, and then we're just gonna kind of go through a mock draft of the top 10. But we'll get to that a little later on, and it should be pretty good. So we hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. All right, guys, we're going to start off the show with our evaluation segment here. Rob, I'm going to let you go ahead, and I'll get the graphic up here, and you can go ahead and explain yours.
All right. Well, Higgy, I guess without further ado, my write-up this week is going to go to Double Nut, the Bengals. He's setting at 0-15 with one game to play. I'll give him some kudos. 24-28 loss to Jack. That was pretty impressive. And I did notice in that game he had a 100-yard performance out of Joe Mixon. But on the season, Mixon's got less than 500 yards on the season. And really, even though he's got another receiver, he's got one over the 1,000 threshold in John Ross. He's got another one tickling it right now with Tyler Boyd. But for him to get in that W column, he's going to have to figure out a way to utilize Mixon and get some rushing going, because if he could get him up around 1,000 yards, I feel like Double Nut could do something. But as of this episode, he gets my write-up.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get that run game going.
I agree. And then, as far as my pay increase, I'm going to give some love to Riot. He's 11-3. He has clinched a playoff spot. Now, granted, he's got a huge matchup coming up with Pride. And he really, if he wins that game, he all but puts himself with the division championship. If he loses that game, Pride's got him in a tie, and Pride's got him in the tiebreakers with one game to go. But nonetheless, Riot has punched his ticket to the playoffs. He's had a good season with Cohen, his running back, 1,100 plus yards. His passing is probably not the best in the world, but man, you can hide a lot of sins when you got somebody like Khalil Mack on your defense.
Yep, and he's a guy that can get in the playoffs and really stir some things up. He's got a good defense, and like you mentioned, he's got good running back. That's really the top two things in my opinion. You need a good running game and a good defense in the playoffs, and he's got both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he could actually make a run in the postseason, that's for sure. But that's who I've got for this week. How about yourself there, Higgy?
Okay, well, as everybody can see by now, my write-up, I've put myself, and I am not afraid to pick on myself. So I put myself there because this season, in my opinion, was very winnable for me. This was a season, if you look at the records in the AFC, this was a season I would have considered maybe I could have slipped in a wild card spot. And now I'm pretty much officially out of it. And a lot of close losses and games that I should have won. So I really haven't proven that I can pull out those games this season. I got beat by DOS twice in two pretty close games. I got beat by the Steelers in a 2-point game, which is a game I needed to win to kind of secure, tiebreakers in my favor. Lost a close game to the Titans, which is kind of the same situation as the Steelers game. And just must-win games, I didn't pull them out. And definitely think that play and not performing up to where I felt like it should have been definitely deserved me giving myself the write-up. pay raise wise, and honestly, can't believe we haven't had him here yet. Just kind of like Van, on our last week's show, kind of overdue. I think a lot of people, because of the rough start, really overlooked him, and nobody's overlooking him anymore because he started out 1-4. VBD and the Patriots started out 1-4. One game won, and then 3 straight losses in week 2 through 4. So he's 1-3. Sorry, he's 1-3 in week 4, and then goes on a 11-game winning streak and is now sitting at 12-3, and looking like, if he wins this last game, he'll go on a 12-game winning streak and could potentially grab the first round or the number 1 overall spot. I'm pretty positive. I'll have to double check here. I'm pretty sure he's already, secured a first round bye. He could potentially get the number 1 spot, and with Saquon and his passing game, because VBD is already known as one of the better passers in the league, in my opinion. And with that and Saquon, he's going to be a tough team in the playoffs, and he's already proven that he can win. So it's definitely overdue, and he's going to get my pay raise this week.
Nice.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into our interview segment here. And today we have 3 very special guests. You are interviewing our 3 Euros, Josh, AirV, and Riot. They are actually in the middle of an XCFL meetup right now over there in London. So, how are you guys doing today?
Just got back from the game. Waiting to order some food and drink more beer.
That's awesome.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good evening, obviously, fellas. Yeah, the game was amazing, and it was cool to be with those 2 guys. RV is speaking, and we're happy to be on your show, guys.
Excellent.
We're happy to have you guys. Well, we have a few questions for you, so I'll let Rob lead it off, and we'll get started.
All right,
cool.
guys. I guess the first question that me and Higgy have is, how did the Euro XCFL meetup happen? Who instigated it?
I think we spoke up and joked about it for a long time, saying that we should all meet up for London. I know AirV's been here before in London, but it's Mike or Riot's first time ever on English soil. So, and all he said so far is that it was dirty. So he's calling my country dirty.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, dirty and stinky, man. And rainy and foggy. But it's even good.
Yeah,
awesome.
and I thought, hey, the Buccaneers are playing. Let's go. And I saw them lose for the 2nd time in London. First time was against the Pets. So I'm never going to visit them in London anymore.
As long as you guys had fun, that's all that matters.
Well, you guys have spent the day, obviously, together, and we all seen the photo, and we loved it. It was awesome. Made me wish that I was there. But Josh, between you and AirV, did any of you guys have the heart to tell Riot that Run DMC is no longer a thing?
Oh, that's always the thing. You have no idea. That's the new stuff in Switzerland. That's the trendy stuff there. It's only just come out there.
Okay. He forgot to tape the D. It must have been Run CMC.
Oh, nice. Well, I guess the question that I have is amongst you 3.
Just 1 second, we have to order beer.
Yeah.
Well, that leads to my question.
It's okay, we can carry on. So.
Who drank the most today? That was my question.
Mike or Riot.
Yeah, Mike definitely drank the most. Yeah, he's the winner.
He's like a fish. He just drinks water. He puts beer.
I got a question for Josh here. Our commissioner, Nick Larson, gives you a real hard time not having won a Super Bowl since the last time I think you three-peated. So my question is, when are you going to win that next one?
Oh, that's a very hard question. But this cycle, we'll call it, I'll continue being VBD's daddy and beating him most seasons. and then there must be one coming soon because the AFC is soft. So I'll be getting in the Super Bowl most years. Might win it a couple of times, probably 4 or 5. But you never know. Maybe this year, maybe next year.
All right, well, everybody has heard it here first. You're going to win one this cycle.
Definitely.
And Josh, if you don't mind, I'd kind of like to ask Air V, looking back on the last draft, you took Marquise Williams at number 1. Looking back on it, are you still satisfied with that pick?
Yeah, I'm still satisfied, but if some guys pay attention, I did a really stupid thing. In my game against the Redskins, he got suspended for half a game, so I put him out of the game. And in the next 4 or 5 games, I forgot to put him back in the team. So I played 4 or 5 games without him. So that's really stupid. At least I gave him some training points, but he missed 4 or 5 games. But I'm still happy with him. He didn't do much this season, but next season he will be there. Mark my words.
He'll get a lot of snaps on defense on the Giants team, so I'm sure he'll develop nicely.
Well, man, yeah, you definitely kind of went off of you did not take who in the draft who I thought you were going to take, but I thought you were definitely going to go quarterback, and that kind of leads to my next question: is when are you going to cut bait with Jared Goff?
Yeah, well, if someone would have traded for Goff last offseason, I would have go quarterback. But now I re-signed Goff for 6 years, so he's the quarterback of the Giants this cycle, and
oh boy,
it's gonna get me to a playoffs. I'm for sure. Not next season maybe, but the season after that, I will get to the playoffs this cycle.
Hey, I like it. I'm rooting for you, man. I'd love to see you get there.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Just don't put your house on it.
And Riot, Mr. Riot, are you going to own that division the entire cycle?
Man, I hope so.
You're playing.
I'm
you're
0-1 to Pride right now. Huh?
Yeah, you're playing pretty good over there. And Khalil Mack's beast.
Mac is a beast, that's true. But I've also some luck. The last 2 games was one sim and one. Yeah, we all know those did a mistake. So I have 2 wins. I maybe don't deserve. But I also have 9 wins this season, and I'm looking forward to the next game to Pride. This is good, so I'm good to go for the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Awesome, man.
And guys, I guess my question that I have for you all is, and we're trying on this end over here in the States, me and Higgy are trying like crazy. But if we can pull off an XCFL meetup over here in the States, are we going to be able to lure you 3 over?
Yeah, me for sure, especially if it's in Vegas. But FV is definitely coming then.
Yeah, I'll have to see what my pocket money stretches to. If my girlfriend will let me go. But,
You know what the difference is? My wife is at the hotel now, and the wives of these 2 other guys are sitting next to them. So
we're on our best behavior and
That's awesome. Oh, Rob, do you have any more questions?
No, guys, I just wanted to say we enjoy you guys a lot in the league. I know Josh and me are in the same division, and I have a lot of fun with it. And Air V, me and you have communicated a lot and had a lot of fun. And Riot, your highlight film stuff is off the chains. That stuff is legit and a lot of fun.
I hope to continue. Thanks.
So we really appreciate you all and wanted to get you on the show and give you a little love because of the big meetup thing you guys did. So we appreciate you.
Thanks for
we,
having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your day today to hop on here for a few minutes to talk to us. Definitely wanted to show you guys some love, and we hope to maybe get you guys back on here again sometime.
Yeah, now we can drink more beer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next
All right,
beers
guys.
are on your podcast, guys.
Yeah,
There
no
you
problem.
go.
You guys have fun.
Later, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for our interview here. We really wanted to show these guys some love. The Euros are over there having their XCFL meetup, as you guys know, and it was really cool that we got to do this kind of live and talk to them as they were all hanging out. I mean, that was really cool, and we appreciate them taking time out of their evening here to do this with us. So we hope you guys enjoy it. We hope to have more stuff like this for you in the future, and we're going to continue to move on here. All right, fellas, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next segment, which is new for the Iggy and Rob podcast. We haven't done this yet, but we're going to do our first XCFL mock draft. We've got the full 32 mock draft, which I'll show you at the end. We are right now. We're just gonna show you the top 10. We're really gonna go over the top 10 and try to cover that thoroughly for you guys, and then we'll show you the 32. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and jump to number 1. And number 1 on our mock draft for the Bengals, we've got Hassan Vaughn, right end, Arizona State. Rob, you want to talk about this guy a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I feel like Double Nut needs to kind of get a replacement for Carl Lawson, who he shipped out of town to New England. Vaughn's sitting here. He is related to Vince Vaughn, the actor, which is kind of a neat backstory. But, I mean, he's a senior. He's noted as a great tackler. I would say he's very similar to Gerald McCoy. I like his frame, 6'5", 273. He can play 3-4. He can play 4-3 on the edge. Very, very flexible player. In my opinion, he's the number 1 player in this draft.
Yeah, that's a good pick. This dude's gonna be an absolute stud, and with the increased need for pass rush, and as important as that is this Madden, I don't think you can go wrong taking this guy. So we'll go ahead and we will move on to our pick number 2, and that is for the Redskins, and we've got Adam Raymond, wide receiver. This would be the first wide receiver out of the draft, and our top 10 order might not be perfect. This is just a rough estimate of what we've got, so it should give you a pretty good idea for the top 10 talent in the draft. So I know Robert's got a lot on these guys, so I'll let him talk about this guy as well.
Yeah, Adam Raymond. I love this kid. I mean, here you've got, Jack. We're projecting the Redskins ends up with the 2nd overall pick. You've got Jack, who's in need of that premier wide receiver. I mean, he's got Richardson, he's got Doxson, but they're both kind of getting up there in age.
Yeah,
you bring in.
He traded McLaurin, so he's definitely in need of a good wide receiver.
Yeah, and trust me, this guy fits the bill. I refer to the Adam Raymond. I mean, he's out of San Diego State. He's the Blitnikoff Award winner. He's just a junior. He's coming out early. He's one of these kids that's coming out early, and this draft is loaded with the junior class. Me personally, he's a lot like a John Ross.
Yeah, that would be a huge pickup for him for sure. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our pick number 3. And for pick number 3, we've got the first corner coming off the board, Dante Simmons, 6'1", another young guy, 21 years old. We've got him going to the Seahawks. So, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, here we are. This is the nation's top defensive player this past season. And it's coming out early. Everybody compares him to a Jalen Ramsey. He's a man-to-man style corner. Graded really high in man coverage. Uh, I like this guy a lot. I mean, I'm kind of blessed right now. I've got my corner position taken care of in Buffalo, but man, corners are hard to find, and this guy is going to be a real gem. He's out of East Carolina, and I feel like he's going to go 3.
Yeah, that's probably not bad. I think a lot of the guys might have had him going to Jack, but I mean, I think we're on to something. I think Jack could surprise people by not taking a corner so early. Moving on to number 4, we've got for some reason, and we won't mention any names, but the 49ers are looking like they're going to have a top 4 pick, and he's going to go QB. It's no secret that he does not want Jimmy G, and being gifted this top 5 pick, he's not going to miss the opportunity to take the top QB in this draft, who is going to be an absolute stud. And Nick's already good at using QBs, so he's going to turn this guy into an XFL Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, Billy Overby. He's from Penn State. Led him to a national championship. He's the senior Wild Bill Overby. He won the Davy O'Brien Award this past season, and in my opinion, he is like a Deshaun Watson. He's a scrambler. He's got a big arm. He's able to make all the throws, intermediate, medium throws. This guy is going to be elite, to say the least. So I unfortunately traded Nick that pick, and Nick's going to really capitalize.
Oh yeah, like I said, everybody's looking at a future XFL Hall of Famer for sure, and if not, it's a huge letdown for Nick. But I don't think anybody's got anything to worry about. This guy's going to be a stud. Okay, number 5, we've got the Colts picking at number 5, J-Mo, and he's going to solidify that defense, I think. He's going to take up free safety, Don McDonald, who's another young guy. We've already talked that this draft's got a lot of young guys, a lot of 21-year-old studs. So this guy's going to be a gem to have in that backfield. Just going to last him the entire cycle.
Yeah, Don McDonald. I mean, I know a lot of people had him projected to be the first guy taken off the board. Heisman Trophy winner, junior. I mean, he's out of the University of Michigan, 6 foot tall, a very effective hitter. I tell you who he kind of reminds me of. I know that Jabril Peppers was a strong safety out of Michigan, but he was just a real thumper. And Dom kind of plays like a Jabril, even though he plays out of the free safety spot. He plays that, able to jump up in the box style safety. So he's almost kind of a hybrid type, but great player.
Yeah. Now we will go on to number 6. Number 6, we've got the Rams and Boone taking wide receiver Charles Bass, 22-year-old, 6'3". This is the second wide receiver off the board, and Boone is in some definite need of receiver help. So he did get McLaurin from the Redskins, but I think he's definitely going to want to add another piece there. Just help kind of solidify that wide receiver core. So this guy, I think, is going to be one of the better guys available at the time. So it's a good pick by Boone.
Yeah, I think Charles Bass is a steal here. I mean, to me, he reminds me of DeAndre Hopkins. He's a physical 6'3", 225-pound receiver, senior, able to make the catches over the middle, hands, just phenomenal player. He is a little bit taller than DeAndre, but I mean, he's that put in the slot, you could put outside. I mean, you can move him around, and he's going to make plays. So Boone gets a steal here.
Yep. Yeah. Number 7, we've got the second corner, Javonte Powell. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yep.
Going to the Chiefs, who is in extreme need of defensive help. So this is a great pickup for the Chiefs. Um, he's either going to go pass rush or corner, in my opinion, and why not take a 22-year-old guy with some speed? It's going to be a good pickup for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I put him at 7 overall, and a few people kind of raised their eyebrow at me and felt like that was moving him up way too much, a corner out of a Toledo. But, here he is. He's a senior. He's the Jim Thorpe Award winner. I mean, he had 14 interceptions last year. Plays, in my opinion, like a Denzel Ward. Phenomenal player. I mean, you've seen Denzel Ward shoot up when he got drafted, and I'm seeing Powell climbing quickly. So who's to say he won't make it inside the top 5? But right now, I'm showing him at 7.
Yeah, that's I think like I said, I don't think that's a bad pick for the Chiefs. So we'll move on here to pick number 8, I believe.
Yes.
And pick number 8 is wide receiver DJ Tompkins. Another young underclassman, deep threat. So this guy could have some speed, and he's 6'5". I mean, if this guy's got above 90 speed, this could be one of the better wide receivers in the draft. I mean, this is the kind of wide receiver that I personally liked. Big, tall guy with some speed, and this could be a recipe for success.
Yeah,
And we've got him going to the Dolphins. Sorry, I apologize.
no, you're fine. I'm really curious to see the combine with DJ. This guy is big, 6'5", 229 pounds, just a junior. There are some question marks, and that's what we got to kind of figure out. He's playing at Idaho. I mean, he's playing at an elite level, but he's playing at an elite level in a smaller school. But he can make all the catches. He's got speed. A lot of people have him slipping, kind of questioning maybe his strength. So bench press will be really curious to see what he does. If he puts up a decent bench press, this guy could be a sleeper. I say he's like a Mike Evans is kind of where I've got him referenced to, but we shall see. But I think he's going to be a really great pick.
Yeah, that's this guy's going to be special for sure. I think. I mean, it is going to depend somewhat on the combine grades, but this is definitely a guy to keep an eye out for. Number 9, we got the Vikings, and we've got him taking outside linebacker Riley Kane, who's just another young guy, and he's going to be just a stud of a pass rusher, which I think next to getting nice fast wide receivers, I think capitalizing on a good pass rusher in the draft is if not the best thing that you could do. And he's got Joey Bosa, so he could be adding a guy on the other side to just help his pass rush even more.
Yeah, and Riley Kane. I mean, here he is, a junior out of Louisville, and don't sleep. He is really good in pass coverage. He is an all-around complete linebacker. Buckus Award winner. He was a 3-year starter, so he started his freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I compare him a lot to Leighton Vander Esch. He's just very universal. He's predominantly a right outside linebacker, but he can play inside. He can play on the other side. I mean, you can move him around. He's gonna get on the field early and often. That's kind of been his MO all the way up through school. So nothing but a little country boy. But I think they're gonna, if the Vikings cabbage onto him, they're gonna fall in love with him real quick.
Oh yeah, and like I said, packaged with Joey Bosa, I mean this guy could turn into an absolute monster. I mean you're not going to be able to double team him, so what do?
Yeah, you're gonna have your hands full.
Yeah. Okay. Well, closing out our top 10 here, we've got the Falcons taking the second safety off the board, strong safety, Aaron Blades, who's another 21-year-old. Like I said, another great safety. You could argue that this guy could go higher. We've got him at 10.
Yeah, I think when we look back to the XCFL drafts, I think we're going to look back at this draft and say there was a lot of talent. A lot of juniors came out early. Here's another one. Aaron Blades hits hard. He reminds me more. He plays more like a Devin McCarthy. But I mean, he's just very talented, very smart kid. He pursues the ball. He's got the frame. He's 6'2", 219 pounds. Out of Texas, proven. I really like him, and I did bump him up into my top 10. I'm not so sure that he couldn't keep climbing the board. If he blows it up in the combine and puts down a good 40 time, um, and some bench press, I think he could just continue to propel himself upward because he's that hybrid type of safety.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud. So that does it for our top 10. We'll talk a little bit about the draft here, and while we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our full 32. There's a few images here that'll show our full 32 team mock draft that we did, and while we're talking about it, I'll give each slide, a minute or so, and move on to the next one, so you guys can take a look at kind of what we wrote up as our top 32. So, yeah, like you said, Rod, there's definitely, I think there is a little bit better talent in this draft than the last one, but I'm still not sold. We'll have to see. I'm still not sold that the drafts matter that much. I know you're kind of on the other side of it, but just based off of how hard it is to develop players, and let me rephrase that. If you're outside the top 10, I'm not sure how much the draft matters. Just because if you're outside the top 10, your odds of getting an X factor, get significantly lower. And without that kind of player, I just don't see them really developing much over their careers.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your opinion, and I mean, I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, to me, I'm going to try to do everything in my power to at least come up with another second round pick. If maybe I can somehow figure out a way to worm back into the first round. I've got, me personally, about 4 major targets. I'd love to be able to figure out a way to get 2 of them on my team. I see the draft deep. I see it deep all the way through the second round. So I am setting with 3 fourth-round picks. If anybody wants to swap me a second-round pick for 3 fourth-round picks, I know I had a couple nibbles on that earlier when I was throwing that out there, but I think there's going to be some good opportunity. This is going to be a fun draft. There's going to be a lot of action. Maybe some people jockeying around a little bit. We'll be kind of curious. Will somebody try to jump in front of Nick and take Billy Overby? Who knows? It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nick move up, honestly. I mean, if he can move up a spot or two and not have to give up that much extra, I truly believe, he knows he can't get back in. I don't think he ever plans on really having to have that high of a pick, so he knows he can't trade back up if he's going to continue to plan on being a playoff team. So,
Yeah.
So I could see him doing whatever he has to do to make sure he has that spot solidified, to get his guy. So if he has any doubt that someone's going to take him before him or someone's trying to move up in front of him, look for Nick to move up a spot or two.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. This draft should tell us a lot about how the draft matters. I mean, we could have our answer after this draft, in my opinion. I just don't. The odds of us getting 2 bust drafts in a row are pretty slim. So this should tell us, quite a bit. It'd be interesting to see how many X factors we get out of this. Do you have an opinion on how many to expect?
I can see 5 solid. And there could maybe be more than that. I think the last draft we produced 6. But I see 5 for sure. And then after that, where the last draft kind of surprised us with a few. I think there could maybe potentially be 3 more surprises. So I think we could maybe end up getting 8, which would be kind of crazy, but I'm definitely going to call 5, and we'll see what happens. And you know what, by the way, I forgot to mention, out of our last mock draft that we did last year, we had the top 5 picks. We didn't have them in the correct order, but we had nailed the top 5 picks. So great job on that, Higgy. I know we did a lot of research, and when the draft laid out, there was some surprises to some, but certainly not to us. We kind of had them, just not in the correct order.
Yeah, no, we had the top 5 talent, nailed down pretty good. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this segment. I pulled up the our full 32 so you guys could see it. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna try to do a mock draft every draft if possible. So that's kind of our plan. We hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we're gonna move on to our next segment here.
Good luck in the playoffs, guys, and good luck in the draft coming up. I can't wait for it.
You too. All right, fellas, we're going to jump into our office rant segment here, before we end the show. And today's topic that we're going to talk about is going to be a quick one. We just wanted to kind of touch base on this since the playoffs are right around the corner. And today's question is, who will be the season 26 Super Bowl champion? I'm going to go ahead and start off, and I think this is a tough one because there's a handful of users that are playing really well right now, but I'm gonna go with Nick. He's undefeated in his division. He's 11-4. He's got the team to do it, and I know he's hungry for one. So he's gonna be my pick. Take home the season 26 trophy. What do you got?
All right. Well, I mean, you take Nick, and the first thing I think of is mass unit. I mean, he's got an impressive rookie in Taj Beverly, but he's out with injury right now. He's got the speedy Marquise Goodwin. He's out with injury right now. Pretty much he's got Brown to throw to. He traded Kittle. He's got a quarterback that he can't stand. But I can see you going with him. I'm gonna stick with my division, and I'm gonna go with VBD. The guy has had a great season. He's on a big winning streak right now. He's got a stud running back. It pains me to think that I've got to face Barkley for the rest of this cycle twice a year. Barkley's got over 2,000 yards. He's still got the GOAT, Tom Brady, doing what he needs to do. The one person that's probably not talked about very much, and VBD has done a fantastic job developing this little guy, but he picked up a rookie, Ken Ellsworth, in the draft, tight end, and he's he's 17 yards away from having a 1,000-yard season with that tight end, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he's done a great job. His defense is stellar. I'm saying that the AFC East is going to get a Super Bowl trophy this year, and it's going to be VBD.
Yeah, VBD is not a bad pick. I put him in my pay raise this week, which is, well deserved by him. So, not a bad pick. The things I would say that are knocks on him is he does have a stellar team, but if you shut down Barkley, he's shown he becomes one dimensional, and then that's when he has his closest games or the games that he loses, is when Barkley doesn't get going. So when he's forced to pass, and he is one of the better passers in the league, but when he's forced to pass and you make him one dimensional, he's definitely beatable at that point. Now when he gets Barkley going, he is very tough to beat. Defense wise, he has given up quite a few points. I mean, he's had some games that he's won. I think he had one that he scored 50 something, but he gave up 40 something. So he's given up quite a few points as well. And Nick is pretty smart, so he's going to go in doing everything he can to shut down Barkley. If they meet in the Super Bowl, so that would be interesting. It would be really interesting if both those guys make it to the Super Bowl, and we get to watch that game, because that would be a really good game to see.
That would be a heck of a matchup, And VBD went out and got Carl Lawson. He went for it this season. He went for it, and I know when he started out, I think it was 1-3 right out of the gates. He started out, and everybody was kind of scratching their heads, myself included, thinking, "Wow, I can't believe." I mean, with some of the moves he made, they didn't materialize, but he got it going in week 5. And he's just been rolling over teams. But, I mean, he's got adequate enough people on defense. I think he could give Nick a heck of a game. And Nick is a great player. He's a great user. So that would definitely be one worth watching.
Yeah, it definitely would. You got, I'm just looking here. It looks like the Patriots have the 4th worst defense as far as total yards allowed. So you got the Bengals have allowed the most, the Chiefs, the Bills, and then the Patriots. So that would be probably my biggest knock on him. Now, with that said, I will also say he has the number 1, offense, as far as or he's right up there at least. Let me double check. He's up there in offense as far as number 2, right behind the Browns. He's just barely behind the Browns. He has number 2 offense. So with that being said, his defense isn't so hot, but his offense is one of the hottest in the league. But the Niners are just right behind him. So if VBD can come in and play good defense, he's gonna be hard to beat. But for Nick, you said about his wide receivers, and that's true. He does have 2 wide receivers that's hurt, but Goodwin's only out for, I think, 2 more weeks, so he'll probably be back for Nick's first playoff game. And then I think Beverly would be back for, if not the divisional round, he'd be back for the AFC Championship. So he's not going to be too bad. Goodwin's going to be there for his first game, and Beverly might miss a game unless he maybe decides to bring him back early. So I think he'll be fine there. He doesn't prefer Jimmy G, but he plays well with him. I mean, Jimmy G's right up there in passing. I think he's in the top 8 in passing yardage, which Nick's always up there with his QBs. So he may not prefer Jimmy G, but Jimmy G is still good, especially in the hands of Nick. So I've just got to go with Nick on this one. I know he's been real hungry for one, and he always performs well in the playoffs. So, and in BBD, don't get me wrong, and I hope BBD proves me wrong. I like BBD. He's playing really well right now. I think he's on the biggest winning streak in the league currently. So he could come in and prove us all wrong, but he is known to, get into the playoffs and, lose early. So if he can get over that hump and get that first playoff win, maybe he can change the script on that. But Nick normally goes, at least to the AFC Championship or, NFC Championship game. So with the experience and the firepower, I'm taking Nick on this one.
Well, my closing argument on VBD is he's got, I count 4 really strong wins on his resume that got my attention. First of all, he finally beat Josh. That had been his Achilles. He finally beat him there on this winning streak he's been on. He beat Adas pretty handily, and Das is a really good user. So, I mean, he handily beat him. He beat Regan, who is a really strong user. That was the shootout 52-44 game. But if everybody goes back to week 8 this past season, he faced Nick head-to-head and beat Nick. So, and it was at San Francisco, but I mean, he faced Nick head-to-head, full full rosters and beat him by 10. So it would be curious to see where those two teams would be at if they were to face off. So I'm saying VBD.
Yeah, that's where I would. I did see that he did beat him, back in early in the season. So it would be interesting to see these guys face again in a playoff situation with Nick's playoff experience and success. I'm taking Nick all day on that, but I hope VBD proves me wrong. He's a good user, and he deserves a shot too. So that would be a great matchup if we could see that.
Stay tuned.
So before we end this, let's do a quick. I kind of want to give a shout out to some of the underdogs. So I'll give my underdog choice. That we just gave everybody the rant on our who we think are going to take the crown. But let's give some of these other guys a little moment in the spotlight, and just pick an underdog out of the current teams that are in in the playoffs currently, who we think has a chance to make an underdog run. And I'll go ahead and say mine first. And I'm going to choose Mr. Pride and the Green Bay Packers. He had a rough season last season, but this season he's played pretty well. He's got the team. I mean, he's got Aaron Rodgers. He's got Devontae Adams. So he's got the team to make a good run. And he was definitely a team that can do some damage in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, if Josh Hanna was locked in right now, my pick would be Josh Hanna just to keep the European theme going. Unfortunately, he's not locked into a spot at this moment, but O'Riot is locked into a spot at this moment, and we talked about him earlier. And he's got the defensive players. He's got a great running game. I'm going to take him as my sleeper pick to shock the world and get his first Super Bowl crown.
I hear you. Record-wise, doesn't seem like much of an underdog choice because he has been pretty dominant. But to your point, hasn't really had much, if any, playoff success, and has not won a Super Bowl. So he would be an underdog going in just based off those statistics. So that makes sense. I'm still gonna stick with Pride. I think all that shit that Lions and Aries has been talking to him. I think he's got him a little bit fired up. I see fire in Pride's eyes, man. He was wanting to make a statement, so he's gonna be in the playoffs and he's gonna have that opportunity. And I'm looking forward to see what he can do over there.
And Pride actually secretly DM'd me and told me, as part of the Bills Mafia, for each playoff win he gets, he will be breaking a table. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh, really? That'd be awesome. Alrighty, so that's it for the office rant today. I'll put out a tweet and see what you guys think, man. See if you agree with us on our win. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Also, we'll put out a little poll on who you guys think the underdog to take the crown would be as well. And if you don't agree with us, let us know. Let us know who you think's gonna take home the trophy. So we'll have that out on Twitter after the show's up and live, and we look forward to seeing your guys' votes, and we appreciate your guys' participation. We've had pretty good participation on the Twitter posts on our first few episodes, so we definitely appreciate that, and we hope to continue that early success that we've had with getting you guys involved and participating on those. It really does mean a lot to us. So that's it for this segment, and we're going to go ahead and close it up here. All right, guys, that's going to do it today for episode 4 of the Higgy and Rob podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We want to give another special thanks to our Euros, Josh, AirV, and Riot, for taking time out of their mini vacation, little Euro XCFL meetup to stop and talk to us. You guys haven't already figured it out. I mean, this was recorded, pretty much live as they were all together hanging out. I mean, they took time out of their dinner after the game to sit down and talk with us, which was really cool, really neat. This is really special to have them on the show with us.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so we definitely appreciate them coming on. Appreciate you guys listening. We love putting this stuff out for you. It's really fun for me and Rob. So thank you guys for listening, and reach out to us on Twitter if you have any questions, because we'll do another Q&A when we get more questions. So shoot us some more questions. Also, if you have any topics you want us to rant about, shoot those to us too in a tweet or in a message, and we'll make an office rant about them. So Rob, you got anything to say here in closing or anything?
Higgy, it wouldn't be fair for me to close this out without giving a little shout out to Higgy for beating the brakes off me in week 14. I know that the message board got a little hot, and I know there was a lot of stuff floating around. And just for the record, I had no vendetta toward Higgy whatsoever. I did have one terrible day that day. I'm not going to lie. Anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. But no, hey, hats off to the Broncos. Higgy got me. I knew it was going to be a tough matchup, and I just pretty much fell to pieces and was putty in his hands. So congrats.
I appreciate that. I wasn't going to bring it up, so that was all you. But no, it was fun. Our matchups are always fun. I know the league enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, Ace, and
Riz.
for broadcasting it. That was really cool, and I know you guys have really enjoyed it, so we appreciate that. That was some love. That was awesome. So thanks again, guys. Thanks to everybody for watching. Next episode.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Hey, guys.